Hey, how's it going out there? Today I want to talk about some of the immigration options for those migrants you probably heard recently on the news who are put on a plane and sent to Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts. My name is Rodrigo Canido. I'm an immigration lawyer and I do videos on different immigration topics and how to get legal status here in the United States. So if those topics interest you, feel free to subscribe. Alright, so let's talk about those migrants. So my understanding is those folks initially came to the United States through the U.S.-Mexico border. Now, when they came here, they were probably processed by Border Patrol. They were either given court dates to appear in immigration court, or were told that they're going to get a notice in the mail for a future immigration court hearing. Now, that's really important. Because if they have a hearing date and they don't appear in court, then they can automatically be deported from the United States. So it's really important that they not miss those hearings. All right. But now that they're here in the United States, what are some of their immigration options? So one that you've probably heard of a lot is asylum. So asylum is a form of humanitarian relief that our government offers for those who qualify. So considering that a lot of these folks are from Venezuela, and if you read reports about what's going on over there, there's a lot of instability of that government and of that country, they potentially might qualify for asylum. So keep in mind, if you want to apply for asylum, you generally have to do it before 1 year expires. So before you've been in the United States for 1 year. Okay. Now, you can't just get asylum for any reason. First, you have to be afraid to return to your home country. And the fear actually has to be based on what's called persecution. Now, with our asylum laws, there's actually 5 ways you can show persecution. All right. So if you're afraid because of your race, your nationality, your religion, if you're part of a particular social group, or based on your political opinion. So if you're following what's going on in Venezuela, there's actually been reports of crackdown on folks who are opposed to the government, people who are protesting the government, sometimes will be detained, they could be tortured, or in some situations even killed. Okay, so some of those Venezuelans on that plane, or who were sent to Martha's Vineyard, are in that situation, they're opposed to the government over there, then they might have a legitimate claim for asylum. All right? So that's how that works. On top of asylum, there's actually another category they can apply for as well, and it's actually the same application, Form I-589, and that's protection under the Convention Against Torture. So basically, you can get this other type of humanitarian protection if you can show it's more likely than not that you'll be tortured in your home country if you return. Specifically by a government official or by the acquiescence of a government official. So again, considering the situation in Venezuela, it's very possible that some of these folks might fall under that category as well. Additionally, from what I understood, a lot of these folks were promised the ability to work and have shelter if they went on that plane to Martha's Vineyard. So they say they were tricked, right? But realistically, can these folks work now that they're here in the United States? Well, in my experience, there's generally 2 ways that folks in this type of situation can work. And again, I'm referring to folks seeking humanitarian aid in the United States. So one is, when they were processed, when they first came to the United States, around that time, if they were given what's called parole. So if they were given that status when they entered the United States, they'll have a document showing that, and they can actually apply for a work permit based on that and based on how long that parole lasts for. Okay, so that's one way they could get a work permit. Another way is if they apply for asylum and the application isn't decided within 150 days, then they can also apply for a work permit while their case is pending if 150 days have passed. All right, and when you apply for a work permit, it's actually a double application, not only for that work permit, but also for a Social Security card. So obviously both are important for work purposes. All right. On top of that, if one of those migrants is a minor, a couple of them are minors, they might also be eligible for a different type of protection here in the United States, which is called Special Immigrant Juvenile Status, or SIJS. So if some of those folks are minors, and when I refer to minors, I mean under the age of 21, if those folks can't be reunited with a parent or both parents because they were either abused, there was abandonment or negligence, then they might be able to seek that protection. A juvenile court would have to make that determination and would also determine whether it's in their interest to return to their home country now that they're here. Now keep in mind, if an immigrant is able to get asylum or SIJS, then that can actually lead to a legal permanent residence in the future, permanent status, or a green card, as many of us know it. So those are some of the options available to these folks now that they're here in the United States. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you got something out of this video.